Hey guys, welcome to the Recreational and Derrick Show. Today we're at the North Carolina Aviation Museum and Hall of Fame. Go! Hey guys, welcome back to the Rocky and Derrick Show. Today we are at the North Carolina Aviation Museum and Hall of Fame. Today we are here with...
My name is Ann Honer.
So, what did you do?
Well, I've raised children. I've been in nonprofit organizations, but probably what you're most interested in is I've been a recreational pilot. When the kids graduated from college and the last tuition check went in the mail, my husband looked at me and said, "Now what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "You've always wanted to learn to fly." So at age 46, I went to the airport and started my flight lessons. And after that, we got interested in flying. He and I got our licenses very close together, and we met a woman in Poughkeepsie, New York, at a wonderful old airport up there, who got me interested in air racing. So I started that. I raced with another friend, and the air racing that we do is not around the pilots that you see in Reno or Las Vegas, whatever. This is across the country races, and it took us about 13 hours to do it, but we wouldn't do it all at once. We did it in 8 different legs. I say 13 hours, it was more like 24 hours. But anyway, did that for about 13 years. I won it once with my partner and came in third once with another partner, and we raced for about 13 years, and just a couple of years ago we sold the airplane. So that's kind of my aviation story. Started out when I was a little tiny girl, and I would go up to the airport with my father in Wheeling, West Virginia, and hang out over the fence and watch the airplanes come and land, take off. And now I'm with a group of women pilots called the 99s. The organization started in 1929. Its first president was Amelia Earhart. And we get together once a month and promote aviation, try to get kids interested in it. We have people who are flight instructors in the group. We have helicopter pilots and soaring pilots, sailplanes. And that's who we are.
What is the most interesting thing you find about flying?
Well, I think the most surprising thing was all the work involved. I had this wonderful romantic idea about being able to go to the airport, get in my airplane, and just fly into the clouds and above the clouds, but it's not that easy. There's a lot of checklists that have to be done before you can actually even start the plane. And then once you get in the plane, depending on where you are, you have to talk to the tower or the control centers in the large major areas of the country. But I think the wonderful feeling of just being able to see what's going on, see the whatever my world is that I'm used to from a different perspective. I remember taking a fellow back to college, and he was in college in Vermont, in New England, and looking over the colors of the leaves had changed. And as I would fly along and look down, because we're not at the same height as the airliners, we're maybe 5,000 to 10,000 feet if we're going on a little trip. And there were these great puddles of color, red and yellow and brown, on the ground. And I realized that the leaves had dropped off the trees and made these gorgeous, gorgeous puddles. I wish I'd been able to take a picture of it then. And the people that you meet, everybody's helpful. And my husband and I got to see most of the country, landed in most of the states of the continental United States. So the ease of travel was really terrific.
What was your favorite plane to fly?
Didn't fly very many of them. I flew Cessna 2-seaters and 4-seaters. We had a 2-seater, and then we had the 4-seaters called a Skyhawk, and that's what we flew. That was the last airplane that we flew.
Do you have like someone who inspired you or who you admire?
I think one of my prior co-pilots for the air race, she was a flight instructor. She lived on the Arizona-California border, and she was fun to be around. We would get in the airplane, close the doors, and it was our own little world. We could talk. We worked if we were on a race. She usually flew the airplane, and I was the navigator. So we both had our jobs, but in the meantime, we found out a lot about each other. It was fun.
So during the races, were they just like a car race, like go in a circle, or did you guys like go places?
No, the air races actually were across the country. So we would start, every year it was a different route, and we would start in one spot, usually in the west, because the prevailing winds come from the west, so we were hoping for tailwinds all the way. We'd start in the west and we'd go as far as we could, but you had to take into account the weather, whether or not it was raining. We had rules in the race that spelled out when we could fly. We couldn't fly at night, and we couldn't fly in the rain. We could fly in the rain if you could see well, but not any clouds. So we had 3 days to finish the race. And when we did it was up to us. We had usually eight different checkpoints along the way, and they were timing lines. We'd have to fly over the timing lines, and the person that came in first at the end of the race was not necessarily the winner, because you were flying against your own handicap. If I had a certain speed that was my handicap, let's say 120 miles an hour, if I consistently was able to beat that speed all the way across the country and do it better than anybody else, then I was the winner, even if I was in a slower airplane. So it made it quite a challenge to make sure that you took advantage of the wind and the weather and made sure that you were flying the timing lines correctly, you didn't get lost. So if you got lost, then all that time was running until you crossed that timing line again. So it was very challenging. Learned a lot.
What is your favorite thing about flying?
What is my favorite thing about flying? Number one, I think, is the people that fly. They're so helpful and they have such wonderful stories. You can't always believe them all, but they're good stories. And then I think the feeling of being able to look out, and as I said earlier, get a different perspective on your area. You know, when I was flying here in North Carolina, this was my home airport, and I used to be able to see the pavilion at the zoo, that great big white building where they had the jungle plants, and I could see that for miles around. So once I saw that, I knew I was coming home, because just beyond that, down in the valley, was the airport. So again, the different perspectives. Being able to go out to, if I wanted to go to the coast for lunch, I could do that, go to the beach, and be back in the summertime by dark. So that was fun.
Did anybody ever like crash during the races?
Only once. We never had anybody killed, but it was a pretty serious accident just on takeoff. It was an old airplane, and I don't know whether she just lost control of it, whether there was something wrong with the airplane, but that was the only time. So you had to be careful, especially coming into the different airports. It could get crowded, so you really concentrate on what you were doing and listening to other people on the radio. Make sure you knew where everybody was.
How would people get in contact with the 99s?
The easiest way is to go online and Google on the 99s.org, and 99s is spelled out, NINETYNINES.org, and that will give you other ways, telephone numbers and addresses, whatever. It's probably the easiest way. If you want to be a member of the 99s, you do need to be a pilot or in taking lessons in training.
What advice do you have for kids?
Ooh, golly. In general, or to be a pilot?
Either one.
I think the most important thing is find something you love and go for it. Who would think that a woman who's 4'7" at the age of 46 would start flying lessons? But I wanted to do it and just kept at it. It wasn't easy, but nothing ever is that's worth it. So that's I think the most important thing. And don't think of yourself as having any limitations. Just find out all you can about what you want to do and do it.
Well, thank you for letting us interview you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to do it. I'm glad I happened to be here when you needed someone to interview.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time. Bye.